everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you just so happen to be joining me for the very first time, my name is Donella and this is my world of beauty here on YouTube. Now for this week's video, the intro is something that I am re-recording because I did originally film this footage back in February during Black History Month. I ran through the footage one more time because I wanted to recreate everything that I did in the first draft. I should say in the first filming of this video. That's really, I really wanted to put back on the same makeup, put back on the same top, lipstick, earring, everything, so that everything just looks like it's flowing and everything just looks like it's one. And did have to edit on a few things where I mentioned about Black History Month, and that's really because, you know, I did not make it to the deadline, but I still want to push forward and highlight a number of brands that are Black owned going forward, and a number of brands that we think might be Black owned but we are not. I was pleasantly surprised as well. I did my research and one of those particular brands I do mention in this video, one brand I thought that was actually Black owned, and I was like, okay. I'm not going to be using any other brands. I do have plans for some high-end brands that I want to feature in a particular month, that particular month being either April or May. I do have some high-end brands that I want to feature, just to want to have a couple of luxury type videos where I'm talking about using all this bougie. Those of us who can't afford it, that's okay. I'll just be enjoying it for both of us. I can't afford it either. These are luxury stuff that were bought for me because I can't afford it either. I will just be enjoying the moment like I bought it. I'm just saying. All right, so if you are interested in seeing how I created this look or recreated, or actually the first draft of this makeup, then please stay tuned. I'm just going to jump straight into this video. I've already went ahead and prepped my skin. I have on my primer. I did apply a bit of eye serum because I felt like there was a bit of puffiness underneath my eyes. So next I'm just going to go in with my black Opal foundation stick, and my shade is Carob. So I'm just going to go in with it. I'm going to add just a little bit of Carob around the centermost portion of my face, and I'm just going to go in with just a little bit, and that's really because somehow I feel like Carob may not be my perfect shade anymore. I might be wrong about that, but we'll see as I start blending this out. We shall see. Is it? Probably need to get myself a hand mirror. For now she's looking like it. She's still looking like it. Let me just blend this out some more and I'll be able to give my final decision once I've blended everything out. My black Opal foundation stick to kind of dry down a little bit. If you don't know the full name of these foundation sticks, they're called the Black Opal True Color Cream Stick Foundation, and my shade is Carob. I actually have 3 black Opal foundation sticks at the moment. This one that I'm holding just now is actually Ebony Brown. This one is Carob, which is my shade, and this one is Black Walnut. I always buy these 3 shades because these are the 3 shades that I think I can definitely play up with my complexion. I use a bit of Black Walnut very recently around Carob because I feel like Carob might slightly be just a little bit too warm for me right now. I feel like I've gotten a little bit darker, so I always put just a bit of Black Walnut over that, and of course I use Ebony Brown as my contour, as my cream contour. Now if you are a person who loves creamy foundation sticks, now I know there are some persons who just love their full-on matte everything, especially if you have oily skin, you just love your full-on matte everything, but I feel like I am a creamy, dewy, slightly dewy type of person, and of course, you know, I love in terms of coverage, I like anything that's between light to medium coverage. I barely wear full coverage face, like on very little occasions. Oh, I'm mashing up the foundation. Very little occasions you'd find me wearing a full face, like a full coverage face. What I want to do is allow Carob to dry down down just a little bit. Allowing the foundation to dry down for like a minute or two, I'm just going to go in real quick and apply a quick eyeshadow look. Now, of course, I've said this in my previous video, I do want to incorporate a lot of black owned brands in my videos for this year and going forward, and there is a black opal eyeshadow palette that I want to get my hands on, which I haven't gotten my hands on as yet. I want to stick to what I said before because this is really important to me. I'm still going to use a black owned brand to create the eye look, so I'm going to go in using the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial, very long name, eyeshadow palette, and I'm just going to choose a color from this that, you know, works well with what I'm wearing here, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I am back. You know what, I think I need to grab a hand mirror, and I feel like because, you know, I'm big on this black owned beauty brands thing right now, I'm going to get a palette for a black owned beauty brand. Okay, Safari Rain palette. Yes, this is a black owned beauty brand. Colored Rain is owned by Lorraine, hence the name Colored Rain, if I never mentioned that before. Okay, so I do still think I want to go in with just a bit of black walnut, just to rub just a little bit of it around my face, to the Carob, because I still feel like the Carob might slightly be just a little bit too warm for me right now. I'm not going to add this. I'm not, as you can see, I didn't add a lot of the black walnut. I feel like I want to focus it more in this particular area right here, because I feel like this is the area that's really going to show the difference in terms of the color range. So yeah, that looks okay, and I feel like once I add ebony brown, that should more than blend everything in. So I'm going to go in next and do my under eye contour. I'm using, of course, a black Opal Total Coverage concealer. This one, this is a face and body concealer, by the way. This shade is called Beautiful Bronze. So, you know, I'm going to get, yeah, a hell of a yellow. It has a really nice yellow undertone to it, and I have been loving it, especially the applicator. The applicator has this little sponge thing, so it doesn't push out too much, and then you just have the excess that's left on the sponge, you can just use it in the other areas where you want to highlight. So I feel like Beautiful Bronze is like the perfect black opal shade to use as a highlight underneath my eyes. And just like that, we just go in and blend this out right away. The reason why I went in right away and started blending this out is because, as it says, it's a total coverage concealer. So unlike those other concealers where they need just a little bit of time to dry down, etc., this black opal, exactly what it says, this black opal concealer covers everything. I mean, look at this. I'm patting it away and you can actually see that it has some body. She has some thickness. She has some body. She is a big girl. She covers everything, and I love it. I absolutely love this concealer. I'm just going to go in, take some time and blend out this concealer, and then I'm going to go in with Ebony Brown and apply my cream contour. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with two powders. I'm going to go in with the Black Opal True Color Soft Velvet Finishing Powder. This one is in the shade 600, which is dark. So I'm just going to go in and lightly tap a bit of this powder all over my face. And that's really because, you know, for the cream foundation, because I have oily skin, I always have to go in with the Black Opal Velvet Finishing Powder right after using it, because it does, oh, not this brush. Let's blow that off. This actually helps to set the cream foundation in place, and I don't go in too heavy with it, because although it says soft velvet finishing powder, if you go in too heavy with this baby, you are going to look very cakey, and I don't really hit the areas where I applied my concealer. That's because I need those areas cleared, because I'm going to go in next with, of course, my favorite powder. Y'all didn't even have to ask. The two of them. This one is banana, because you know banana is the lightest shade. And where is honey? Where is honey? Oh, she's all the way in the back. and honey, of course. Banana and honey, banana and honey, banana and honey, banana and honey, banana and honey. Okay, a wedge. I've been using wedges lately to apply my powder, and that's really because I have so much of them. I use them on my clients, and let me tell y'all something, right? If y'all see how these wedges, they just, see what I mean? They just do some good things in terms of getting between the little nooks and crannies to set your powder, number one. And they just lay that powder down. Like, you don't even have to worry about dusting anything off. These babies just lay it down. Like, I'm going to be laying it on a little bit thick because I want that big under eye brightness to really come through, especially because I'm wearing this. I decided to choose this shade of eyeshadow. My eyes aren't completed as yet. I need to add liner and lashes and all those different things. Girl, why am I going in with this? I actually need to be careful with this because the black opal concealer is really thick, and I know this Fenty powder is like God sent from the makeup gods, and you have to be really careful with this because you would end up looking cakey. Like, a little bit of this goes a long way, so I don't even know why I dipped in there like 3-4 times. But yeah, I don't want to press all of it in completely as yet, so I'm going to go in and use Ebony Brown to apply my cream contour. Then I'm going to come back and apply banana. I just want honey to set in on my concealer just a little bit before I go in and apply banana just yet. So just hold on. Okay, I couldn't find the compact, so I just went in and used the Ebony Brown foundation stick, and that's really because the foundation stick is like all the way at the bottom right now. So I was trying to just use the compact, which is much fuller, but it's probably somewhere around here. I know I put all of them together before I started filming. By the way, just a quick note, you don't have to do your makeup exactly how I'm doing it. You can go ahead and apply all of your liquid and cream products first, and then set all of them in place with your powder. But this is just me. This is what happens when I talk while doing makeup. I always go in all sorts of order, but that's okay. The whole point is that you hit all the areas that you need to hit in terms of coverage and all that. I'm going to have to spend some time around the areas that I contoured. I did apply a bit of it underneath my jawline as well, just to make sure that everything is nice and blended, and the powders and the creams and everybody just look nice and blended, and everybody is where they need to be in terms of placement. So I do have to press the rest of this powder in, and I'm going to go in. I'm actually gonna go in and just start pressing this powder away, but I'm not going to use a wedge. I'm going to use this sponge that I use to apply my foundation. Banana, and I am actually going to use the other side of this wedge to apply the banana, but I'm not going to go in as heavy as I did with honey. I'm just going to apply one application of banana right there, and that should hold up, because I put so much honey right now. I put so much honey underneath my eyes, right, that I actually think I could have probably skipped the step of applying banana, but I'm still going to use it a little bit. Set my cream contour in place, or just, to kick it up just a notch even more. I'm going to go in with another black owned brand. This is from Prime Beauty. You can probably see it better on this one. You can probably see the word Prime better on this one. This one is Chocolate Litty, which is like a deep brown that I use on my deep skin clients. It's like a really deep brown. It's like, yeah, it's chocolate. But that one is a little bit too deep for my skin's complexion. So I use Bronzeville. I'm sure you guys have seen me use this in plenty of my past videos. I love this bronzer. It is just amazing, man. It is amazing. So I've already went ahead and applied lashes, bottom mascara, etc., and I feel like these lashes ain't dried down completely as yet, but that's why I'm gonna leave that to do what it needs to do. I don't have a black opal blush, sorry, not brush. I am going to be using this as my blush for this look, and I think that this actually works perfectly with the eyeshadow color that I selected randomly It's because whenever I open that Pat McGrath palette, which is why I kind of try to keep it hidden, you know, I don't go crazy when I see them colors. So I'm gonna go in and just lightly blend that out using the same brush that I used to apply that I used to apply the bronzer from Prime Beauty, and just blend that out. You see me looking on this side, it's really because there's a mirror on this side to the front of me here, and you know I look kind of crazy, so why not take this hand mirror up? I look kind of crazy, if not full blown crazy, and not kind of. Just like that. Gonna make sure that we hit it all the way back so that it looks like everything is nice and tied in. Then I get a little mess right there. And my lashes won't let me be great with my eyes overall because I naturally have watery eyes, so sometimes depending on if like the breeze that's blowing hit my eye when I'm applying the lashes on my, the mascara, my eyes start watering like crazy. So sometimes then I have to put the fan like a little bit away from me, just because that I have these stupid eyes that just like to water this stupid self. Anyway, color, which is of course going to be a nude lip color. I do have a black opal lipstick, thank God. I actually wanted to get the corresponding lip gloss. When I say corresponding lip gloss, it's because this shade is called Bon Bon. I used it once before. It's this deep, beautiful chocolate brown right here, and there is this black opal lip gloss that I think would have matched perfectly with it, but for some reason I don't want to get into it. It wasn't me, it was the shipper's fault. I didn't get it, but that's okay. So I'm actually going to use a bit of the Uma Beauty gloss over this because I feel like these two are going to look absolutely gorgeous together. So let me just go in and line my lips real quick, and let's just create something beautiful. Okay, so I am back, and I have to say, right, I feel like my lips, that whatever it is, I feel like my lips, this little creation that I did on my lip is probably my favorite part about this tutorial. That's really because I don't wear a deep chocolate lip often enough, and it almost looks like something that you could wear during the Halloween time, even though we don't really celebrate Halloween down here in the Caribbean. You know, it looks like that deep lip that you could probably create during that time in October where they have creatures running around and you create some creatures thing. But overall it feels good, it looks good, I love it. I feel like I want to use it again in another tutorial, which I probably will, because you know I did say that I'm going to be using a lot of black owned brands going forward. Not that everything is going to be black owned, it's just that I'm going to push them more at the forefront, because I feel like there are so many brands that are black owned that persons aren't aware of, or they probably don't know that they are in fact black owned. One particular brand that caught me, which I thought was black owned, which probably might be surprising to some of you as well, is this brand, Black Radiance. You know, they have this True Complexion contour palette in 3 different shades. The one that I use for myself is dark to deep. It has some gorgeous contouring colors in here, and a highlight color in all 3 palettes, depending on the category of skin tone that you fall under. And it was surprising to me when I did some research, and I'm just like, Black Radiance is not black owned? Who would have thought? But of course Black Opal is black owned, but this one really threw me. I even had the notion that perhaps Black Radiance is kind of like under the same umbrella company as Black Opal. Those were just my minimal thoughts. Clearly I was wrong, and I admit that I was wrong. So those of you who thought that Black Radiance might be black owned, it isn't. I'm so sorry. One additional thing that I forgot to mention while I was creating the eye look is that I did use this. This is actually a Sasha Cosmetics brand, if you can't see the Sasha on it anymore. It's actually from Sasha Cosmetics. We all know Sasha Cosmetics is from all the way down on the island chain. It was created in Trinidad and Tobago, and yeah, it is in fact black owned. And I actually used this is their Camouflage Foundation. I don't remember what shade this is. Did it have a shade on this? I can't remember, but I use this a lot for tattoo covering, but we're not talking about that right now. I also use this as a primer for my lids. Now I do have the Black Opal Total Coverage concealer that I normally use to prime my lids, but Of course, you know, this is like really, really, really light. So on some occasions, I like to go in with something that's closer to my skin tone, especially if I'm creating something where I don't want to do a lot of blending. And I had the idea just recently to try this as a primer because it has in some ingredients that are very questionable in terms of putting them in a foundation, and those particular ingredients are lanolin and beeswax. And I'm just like, beeswax and lanolin are things that you would find in hair products. You know, lanolin you would find in petroleum jelly, Vaseline or something like that, and beeswax stands on its own. It's like a pudding or a hair gel or whatever it is you want to call it. So basically, you know, persons who have kinks and curls like I do, to help to hold your hair up throughout the day, if you're having like a hairstyle like this and you don't want to use gel, if you're not a lover of gel, you know, people use beeswax to keep their hair up, to keep it in place. So I'm just like, that is very interesting that they put those two ingredients in this foundation, which kind of makes more sense as to why when it dries down, which, let me not say dries down, but when you put it on your face and you have oily skin, it just creates more oil. So you would just be there packing on powder and powder after powder after powder, thinking that that would control it, but it just makes you sweat more. It just actually, it doesn't even look like sweat. It just makes you overall look greasy. So I said to myself, you know, let me try to use this for something else. So I started using it for tattoo covering whenever I have clients, you know, during, you know, pageant season, when we have there are some persons who might have certain areas on their bodies that might need a little bit more covering. So I decided to use this as a tattoo. So I decided to use this to cover tattoos, and also to use this as a eyeshadow primer. And that's really because it has a bit of a tackiness to it. I don't know if the beeswax and the other ingredients here play a role in why it's so tacky, but the tackiness of it actually helps the shadow to more to your eyes, and I feel like it lasts throughout the course of the day. Of course, you know, it's because it dries, it has a like greasy base, or it dries on greasy overall. I would suggest apply just a little bit of powder over it before you apply your eyeshadow. Type of eyeshadow that you're using, like for instance, I used my Pat McGrath Labs, and those palettes are extremely buttery and very shimmery, so I don't think I needed the powder to apply to it. The shimmeriness from those colors actually just adhered to the stickiness of this foundation. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there, that, you know, if you do happen to own this particular foundation from Sasha Cosmetics and you're wondering what to do, try using it as an eyeshadow primer, or try using it on your clients as a base to cover tattoos.